Good afternoon. I think I'll exercise good judgment and just leave it at the introduction. It's been good being here with you this afternoon. George, thank you very, very much for that incredible introduction. But I have to say back, thank you for the great work that you're doing, not just in Philadelphia, but in many other places across the United States of America. Please recognize George McDonald. And I appreciate you remembering that night. That was a very powerful evening to see these folks who had some challenges in their lives and were determined that it was not just a phrase, but that today is the first day of the rest of your life. They took it very seriously, and we're expecting great success from those folks. I'm truly honored to have been asked to come to this incredible luncheon, the great history and tradition that you've established here. And I was talking to our Housing Authority Director, Carl Green, who I want to thank for making the recommendation and suggesting that I might be considered to be a speaker. And we're now thinking about having a somewhat similar event. It won't be at the size and scale, of course, of New York, but we think we can put a few people in the room. It's important to bring such important groups together. Marvin Marcus was the first person up, at least when I was here. And Marvin, I want to thank you for your leadership of CHPC and, of course, the great work that you're doing at Goldman. I did notice that there was a fair amount of chatter in the room, and you've instructed me well, and I will not talk about sports at any level. I do look forward to seeing you in November, and we'll talk about that. I'll have some other comments about that in a second. There was a great change, though, in the room after Marvin finished, and Jerry Lynn came up. I know New York is a different kind of place, and there's a certain attitude that you have to have in New York. Philadelphians have a certain attitude as well, a little different. But Jerry Lynn came up and basically told everyone to be quiet, and you did. So it was very clear to me who is in charge and runs a very, very tight ship. Mark Ginsburg was up as well, and I want to recognize him for his leadership. And so for the three individuals, but do me a big favor because I had to deal with her over on the side, make it extra loud for Jerry Lynn. Please recognize these great leaders. John Reed, thank you very much for your leadership at the New York City Housing Authority, and I want to recognize he is an incredible leader and one that I admire a great deal. I came up, I had won the Democratic primary in 2007. The general election had not yet taken place, and Mayor Bloomberg, quite frankly, didn't know me, as we say back home, from a can of paint, but agreed to take a meeting so that I could start to learn. There is no mayor's school, of course, and you have to really learn from folks who are doing the job. And he spent some good time, and his people spent some time with us and our contingent that came up. Mayor Bloomberg is one of the great mayors of the United States of America and a great leader, a great sharer of information, and I thank him for that. To the leaders of the three different housing agencies, and to all of you, the developers, the financial community, the legal community, civic activists and housing activists, all of you. This is a great luncheon and a great series of events that you put on. I love coming to New York. I really do. I enjoy the environment. I learn a great deal whenever I'm up, and also come up and just have a good time. Some of you may be familiar with a great tradition that Pennsylvania has every year. It's been going on for over 100 years. I mentioned earlier that Philadelphians and Pennsylvanians have a slightly different outlook on some things. We have this incredible event called the Pennsylvania Society. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of that event, but it actually takes place every year in New York. It is the only place and the only time that every one of the political leaders, or anyone who wants to be a political leader, anyone who's elected or think they should be elected, business leaders, lobbyists, you name them, they're all right here, and that group of folks would never assemble anywhere at any point in time together, anywhere in Pennsylvania. But they come to the Pennsylvania Society once a year in early December. You can get a lot of business done, a lot of deal making, and a whole lot of other stuff. But it's our attempt to boost the hospitality industry here in New York City, we thought we'd share that with you. Now, I was here last November. We had a little situation. The World Series was kind of ended short, one game, and Mayor Bloomberg and I had a bet. So I spent some time at Albert Einstein School in the Bronx. We painted a wall. I want to apologize to the kids at Albert Einstein. Neither Mayor Bloomberg nor I did a particularly good job, and I know that it was repainted after we left. I did, though, as a part of the bet, I had to wear it just sends chills. I had to wear a Yankees jersey with a number 2 on it. He really knows how to put the knife in and turn it. But as I mentioned earlier, look forward to seeing you in November. We already have a school picked out and a wall ready. More seriously, almost 20 years in public service. I've had an opportunity. I'm born, raised, educated, created all my trouble in Philadelphia. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, even in the midst of the worst economic recession since the Great Depression, that Philadelphia is poised for greatness in the years to come. In my business, of course, you have to be an optimist, but you will not survive long if you're not a realist. And so we deal with these kinds of challenges each and every day. In the century of change, though, Philadelphia will do very, very well because of some strategic decisions that we're making right now in the near term while planning for the long term. Location is actually a great part of our story. New York City is literally about an hour to the north, Washington, D.C., an hour and a half to the south. Being strategically located between the financial and governmental capitals of the world puts Philadelphia in a situation with a base of operations, a lower cost of living than in either of these two other great cities. Philadelphia is a place where you can make investment, get around, and get to where you need to get to. An incredible highway system, a rail system, a mass transit system that rivals any other city in the country. Delaware River is being deepened right now to take in more large ships for port activities. The Philadelphia International Airport continues to grow and expand with a new runway scheduled very shortly. It's a city within a much larger region, southeastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia at the center of it. A diverse economy fueled by education, medicine, pharmaceuticals, life sciences, and a growing and thriving hospitality industry as well. Our center city and many of our neighborhoods are laid out in a way that it's an incredibly walkable and bikeable city, and it's served, as I mentioned earlier, by a great mass transit system for all 5 counties in southeastern Pennsylvania. We've connected on a host of green initiatives, new bike lanes, more bike racks, and Philadelphia has one of the highest percentages of people who actually bike to work of any city in the country. In short, a lower cost location with a premier location on the East Coast puts Philadelphia in a great place no matter what is going on. Now, of course, as I mentioned earlier, you have to be a realist, and we have our challenges, and we have many of them. This is a city that has slowly shifted from a manufacturing base to a high technology economy. And that slow shift has been very painful over the last 50 to 60 years. In 1960, Philadelphia had a population of a little over 2 million residents. In the last 50 to 60 years, we've lost 500,000 residents, and with that, a great number of jobs. In 1980, 20% of the city's jobs were in manufacturing. Today, that number is 4%. The poverty rate in Philadelphia is approximately 24%. We're second on the top 20 cities in the United States of America in terms of poverty rate. And let me tell you how that plays out. Our high school graduation rate is still much too low, and our college degree attainment rate, notwithstanding the fact that we have 92 colleges and universities in the 5-county region, one of the most education-rich parts of the country.